Hey, buddy.
He's being silly. Yeah.
This is under the ocean.
Do you know what it's called? Dippin' Dots?
It's called cotton candy ice cream. And they don't have ice cream, we have candy.
Mmm, yummy.
You think I can fit? Timmy, look. Look at this, you guys.
Okay, what about down here?
Now I want now this is done.
It's done? Okay. Then we do I'm done. And then name your squid. Type your name. O. G. A. N. It says welcome Logan. Whoa, your squid just went. Bye, squid. A cheeseburger. And I'm getting the mama burger.
I'm at Westlaw Walk here, and then so I got a cheeseburger with fries, and then my mom got a burger, and then that's all.
Yes. Is it good? Let me see you take a bite. Ooh, so good. This is the burger. So currently just rolling in traffic. I am having some cramps. Don't know if it's because I just ate that burger and I might have to poop, or if it's the start of contractions. I am 38 weeks pregnant and that's when I gave birth to Logan, so I guess we'll find out. We're home from the aquarium now. Logan is snoozing in the back. The tightening that I was feeling, the little cramping, has gone away, so that's kind of disappointing. So it's like 4:30 in the morning and I am definitely having contractions. They're about 4 minutes apart, lasting almost a minute. Just called my doctor to let them know. Here it is. Having so much fun. At this point, I'd like to say that I was about 2 or 3 centimeters dilated, because when we got to the hospital, they told me I was 3 centimeters, and this was just 30 minutes before I got to the hospital. So in the early stages of labor, what really helped me was bouncing. I felt like bouncing and rocking was the only thing that made me feel better. On our way to the hospital to have this baby, but first we're getting gas. So let's talk labor and delivery. So today is December 31st, 2022, the day my daughter was born. At 1 o'clock, I started to get like period cramps, which was the beginning. And then at about 3:45, it was to the point where like I could not sleep through them anymore. So I got up, I went to the bathroom, I had a few contractions in there, and then I called my doctor, told my doctor what was going on, and because they were 3 minutes apart. So they were like, all right, let's get you ready, like have something to eat, and come to the hospital. So, sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable. At 5 o'clock, I woke Anthony up. I called my mom, told her to get ready to come over soon. I had like a couple bites of cereal, but I couldn't eat. And then I took a shower, and the shower was great. The burning hot water on my back felt so good every time I had a contraction. But I only stayed in there for a few minutes, and then we got in the car, stopped to get gas because my tank was on empty. And then do you hear her? It's almost time to eat, I think. But we got in the car and then we headed to the hospital. When we got here, they put me in this like little room and they checked me and they said I was only 3 centimeters. A few contractions in there, and then my water broke. And that was crazy because my first pregnancy, my water didn't break with Logan. They had to break my water. My water broke and it was dripping all over the bed. And then after that, the contractions sped up really quickly. So they were like, all right, let's get you into a room and let's get you ready for your epidural, because that's what I told them that I wanted. I did originally tell Anthony, like I would see how far I could go without an epidural, which is actually kind of funny because of what happened. So they bring us into the room and my contractions are just getting more and more like intense and more like, so intense. And at that point, I think that I was starting to like transition into, I guess, active labor. And then finally, the people came in to give me the epidural. And at that point, my contractions were like a minute apart. They were intense. So they came in to give me the epidural and it didn't work. So they gave me the epidural and they were like, oh, your next contraction, it should be mild. But my next contraction was full on. And then so were my 3 or 4 other contractions after that. And I told them, I was like, I can't do this. I'm in so much pain. I was like, I need to start pushing. And they actually told me that they gave me an epidural and a spinal, I guess. And they were like, oh, like 10 minutes to kick in, you should be fine. So I had those 3 contractions and I was like, no, I feel pressure. Like every time I had a contraction, I was breathing out into my contraction. I could feel her moving down. Like I felt like her head was coming out. So I was like, I need to push now. And then the nurse came in to check me and she said that the baby's head was pretty much there. So she was like, all right, no more time. Let's have this baby. And I was like, the drugs, what about the drugs? I was like, can you give me another dose? And they were like, sorry, you're gonna have to do it. Just breathe through, focus on getting baby down. So I was laying in the bed and I could feel the contraction coming and they were like, okay, push. And when I started to push, I finally was starting to feel like a little tingly feeling in my toes that was starting to go numb. But I could still feel pretty much everything. So I felt my contraction, I started pushing and her head came out. And then I just pushed and then she came out and it was so fast, it was crazy. So basically like the time sequence, I got to the hospital at 6, my water broke at 6:30, and then I got my epidural at 8:10, and then I had her at 8:25. So it was just fast, it was a whirlwind. It was the complete opposite of what I had with Logan, because with Logan, I had my contractions started in the morning, and then I didn't get to the hospital until about like 9 at night or so, and then they sent me home, and then when I went back, I got an epidural stayed all night, slept through the night, and then the next morning at 3, or the next evening, afternoon, 3 o'clock, what is that considered? At 3 o'clock, that's when I gave birth to him. So I had the epidural for a long time, and I only got to 3 centimeters with him. But the nurse told me that by the time I had my epidural this time, that she said that she thinks I was at least 8 centimeters or more. So I could have had the baby without, I pretty much did have the baby without an epidural. It just kicked in at the very end for when they had to stitch me up. But it was intense, but it was so worth it. And it was really difficult, but it was beautiful, and I still can't believe it. I'm just so excited and happy, and I can't wait for her to meet her big brother. It's like such a dream.